This episode I'll be looking at the Encyclopedia of Game Machines by Winnie Forster.
Released in English in 2005 after it was originally published in Germany, it pretty much does what it says on the tin, and as a result I'll look to keep this review fairly brief. Produced by Game Plan Books, this is almost the definition of a labour of love. In fact, it covers so much ground it's sometimes a little overwhelming. Covering over 400 machines in just over 200 pages, this is as much a history of consoles as it is an encyclopedia. This is largely as it's wisely been ordered chronologically rather than alphabetically, giving you the chance to see how the design of game machines has subtly altered over the last 30 years. Starting with the TV overlay toting Magnavox Odyssey and running up to the PSP, every machine gets at least a page detailing its successes.
Or in many cases, its failures.
Although the more famous machines get a good helping of coverage, one of the real joys to the book, for me at least, was learning about some truly obscure systems. I'd never heard of some of them in fact, such as the funky looking Entex Adventure Vision with its LED powered display, and something called the Nintendo Game Boy.
Whatever that is.
As for the actual writing for each entry, it's serviceable rather than electrifying. It has been translated from German after all, and does show at times, but still offers up enough intriguing details to keep you interested.
There's little to no insight from the people behind the machines, sadly, direct quotes from other sources aside, but this is very much a book that looks to offer potted histories and a list of variants of each console.
The machines are broken up by short 2-page spreads, which split up the generations of consoles, the video game crash and home computer success story, and the 16-bit era for example, but generally this is not a book to be read in one sitting.
Instead, it's probably best used as a reference guide for when you need to know more about a specific system.
Sadly, for this purpose it falls a little short, offering little information that may have added some value for collectors. There's no consistent indication given for how rare a machine is, for instance, or what its most sought after or best titles are.
Things that really could have helped if you needed a quick crash course on a little known device.
As it stands, the information here could largely be gleaned fairly easily online, if perhaps not in such a concise and well presented way. In fact, one of the only truly unique things the Encyclopedia of Game Machines does is to give a star rating out of 5 for how good it considers a system's library of titles to be.
This is arguably one of the worst parts of the book though, as it ends up raising more questions than answers.
Although many scores are understandable, there are some notable exceptions that undermine the generally well-researched tone of the book. The Atari VCS receiving 3 stars, and the Fujitsu FM Towns being awarded 4 being just one example.
Perhaps it's harsh to judge the book on such criteria when so much effort has clearly been put into it, and I'd be lying if I said I didn't enjoy leafing through its pages. But it's hard to fully recommend when much of the information here can be found elsewhere.
There's also the drawback that the book is pretty tough to get a hold of nowadays. A copy on the UK version of Amazon will set you back over £30 for example, although it is much cheaper in America.
Overall, this is a meticulously and well-designed love letter to gaming hardware, but not a book that feels particularly essential.
Hey, thanks for watching, I really appreciate it. As before, you can choose which book I cover next: Gamers, edited by Shanna Compton, or The Ultimate History of Video Games by Stephen L. Kent. You can cast your vote by either leaving a comment below, or by visiting the survey set up in this video's description. Please do let me know what books are your favourites too. I've had a couple mentioned to me, such as All Your Bases Are Belong to Us and Cheating, Gaining an Advantage in Video Games, but welcome any more suggestions you may have.
Wow! Oh great! I'm a horse now!